I'd like to look at something that you've maybe never looked at in quite this way before, yet I feel like it's extremely important to look at because of the impact it has on our moment to moment experience. And that is this question of what is a thought? So let's look at what is a thought, but without using more thoughts, because we can't really answer what is a thought by bringing in more thoughts and concepts. That's not really going to get to it. So without adding in more thoughts and definitions and ideas, how can we look in direct experience, experientially, at what is a thought? What is this thing, this experience that we call a thought? You really have to kind of pull it very close and examine it, I think, with a lot of curiosity to get any kind of sense of what the heck even is this. So we can think of anything, can think of a squirrel. Now, when I say squirrel, maybe you feel like you have a thought of a squirrel, but what is that and where is it? You might see a squirrel in some sense. Even that is a strange thing because maybe your eyes are open and you're looking around and you don't see a squirrel in what we call the world out here, but you see a squirrel somewhere in your mind. So maybe there's some visual image of a squirrel. Maybe you hear a squirrel, little squeaky squirrel sounds. I don't know. Maybe you see the word squirrel written. Just get curious about what shows up and move closer to it. Pull it close to you and check it out. What is this thing that we might call a squirrel thought? What's it made of? And when we ask these questions, what is it and what's it made of and how is it represented? It's not to arrive at some final answer. I mean, try. You can try to arrive at a final answer and see what you see. In my experience, pulling this stuff closer and really looking and getting so curious about what is it? Is it an image? Is there a sound? Is it a feeling? Do I feel something when I think squirrel? Am I thinking squirrel? There's so many pieces in this. When you pull it closer and just get so curious, what I've found, and I've done this a lot, is it's more and more mysterious the more and more you look. It seems like maybe, like even as I'm speaking to you right now, I kind of have this little brown caricature of a squirrel somewhere in my mind. I don't even know what that means in my mind. It's somewhere in here. It's being sensed in some way, this little gray cartoon squirrel looking thing. But what is that? And when I get closer to it, even as we're speaking right now, and I try to pull it closer, it kind of starts to vanish. I can't pull it close enough to really feel like I know what this is. And that is something that I've heard from many people who have played with this. It's kind of mirage-like. It's like the closer you get and the more you try to pull it closer, the more elusive it is. So it's very, very curious that the experience of a thought is absolutely obvious. We all know what it means to think something and even to imagine something, let's say, to imagine something that is not, I mean, there's a lot of assumption in this even, but that is not in our real life physical experience right here. Let's say we're imagining a squirrel, we're thinking of a squirrel. We know what that feels like, and it's absolutely irrefutable. And that's just imagining a squirrel. I mean, we live in a sea of thoughts and thinking and narratives and stories all the time that are completely obvious. We know that there is an experience there. Yet, we know remarkably little about that experience. And all you have to do is move closer and check it out. With a teacher of mine, I don't know, a year or two ago, and talking about an experience that I was having of insecurity. And it was an absolute obvious experience. I could feel it. I could imagine it. I like, it was just so real. It was a real experience. And I remember her asking me, what what is that made of? What is insecurity made of? And I had some answers. Um, of course, it's made of thought and feeling and I don't know, energy. I don't know. It's some answers. And for every answer I gave, she kept asking, well, what's that made of? What's thought made of? What are the images of you being insecure or not good enough or whatever? What are those made of? What about the feeling of insecurity? Where you feel it? What is that? What's it made of? What's energy made of? I mean, it got to a point really quickly where it completely broke down, and it's weird because I knew this, but at the same time, until I really walked through it and looked, I had to arrive at this sort of conclusion, which I wouldn't even call a very firm conclusion, but it was just so obvious in the looking. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm sitting here feeling this feeling of obvious insecurity, heavy, not nice feeling. And when I look, I have no idea what that feeling is, what it's made of, where it came from. The closer I get, the more it kind of changes form or moves or is harder to nail down. And that is interesting. Like, that is so important because look at how we feel about thought. How we feel about thought is often that it's true, first of all, that it's accurate, that it's telling us important things, yet we don't even know what it is. Also, how we often feel about thought is that it victimizes us, that it's hurting us in some way, that it's unkind, that it limits us. We feel like a victim of something, but we don't even know what is victimizing us. When we look closely, we don't know what it is. And I think that is really, really like the point of this. It's so huge to see that we're running around afraid of things, kind of don't want to think this, don't want to feel that, trying to manipulate things and hide from things on many levels, not even on a conscious level, but I think there's so much of that happening, so much of what we do to try to avoid a thought or avoid a feeling or what someone else's thought or feeling. It gets so complicated in our lives. Yet, what are we running from? What are we even feeling victimized of from? We don't know. I mean, I don't know. You look and see. Look for yourself and see. What even is this thing I'm calling a thought? What even is it? When we don't look, and we don't look because we're scared and no one taught us to look and people around us don't seem to look, we just don't look. We take it at face value. It feels real. Again, it is an obvious feeling. So when we don't look, it has this assumed truth and reality to it. When we look, you get to see beyond that. You get to see how true and real it is and how much you can really say about it. And there's so much freedom in not knowing in any area of life. But man, thoughts, feelings, experiences, so much absolute freedom in the mystery when we really look and we see how little we actually know about what this stuff even is.